So welcome to the tonight's build along of Kellow Station. We're doing both HO and O scales. If you haven't purchased your kit yet, please go to ConowingoModels.com, and for the HO scale kit, use Jim HO where it asks for a discount code, and it'll give you a pretty decent discount. And same thing for the O scale kit, but the discount code on it is Jim O. And as a reminder, it's not valid on any other items, and it's good through June 15th, which is the last day of the show, of the build-alongs, rather. All right, in episode 2, we're going to cover window and door prep, assembly of the end walls, shingling the roof, and then we're finally going to start, beginning the assembly. And as a reminder, some parts may look slightly different between the scales and the pilot model, between the scales, and also between them and the pilot model, because as we built the pilot model, a few things changed here and there to make it make construction a little bit easier, make the parts a little more durable, those sorts of things. And also some illustrations may not look like the instructions due to the improvements that we've made during that construction. All right, window and door prep. First thing you're going to do is glue the acetate pieces into the windows. I know some people like to use glass, magnifying glass, that sort of stuff. Personally, I just like to use the acetate windows that came with that came with the doors and windows. Next thing you're going to want to do is cut the cardstock for the window shades. You want to vary the heights. Do not cut the shades for the door transom or the decorative upper windows. I guess you could, but I've never really seen a whole lot done with that. Of course, the door shades are optional, and but whatever you do, you want to add proof of life on there. And the shades can also be used to hide an empty interior. Optional, but recommended. We use the shades and the doors and windows, and you want to put these in place first, I've found, because as we put this thing together, I actually, on the pilot models, I put the windows in after I constructed it, and I've got fat fingers and things that just made things more difficult that way. Glue the window shades into place. You want to vary the heights and possibly occasionally angle one or two windows to add kind of a proof of life. You don't want things perfect, because then it just looks too perfect. It doesn't look right. And then once you're done with that, we recommend gluing the doors and windows into their respective openings. We'll move on to end wall assembly. The graphic on this page is a little bit, I tried to make it easy, but I think I may have may not quite have hit the mark with it. But basically what you're going to want to do is, and this is for the O scale kit, the HO is slightly different, but it ought to be just basically squares instead of circles for the upper window there. So what you're going to want to do is move the decorative gingerbread triangular piece on top of one of the respective outer wall, and then except for the number 3, the outer wall overhang, you're going to put that onto a triangular piece of board and batten, and that goes onto the supports there. Then what you're going to want to do is take the outer walls and then glue them to the respective supports that are numbered 1. And there's a picture of it, because I'm sure I just totally screwed up how I wanted that said. So hopefully the picture says better than I can. So that's what you're looking at right there, is those outer walls, except the one on the right, attached as it needs to be. Next, we're going to do some shingling. Some people like to take and put pencil marks at like 1/4 inch or whatever on the way up. What I did on this one is I took and put a starter strip on the bottom And I just tried to match up the bottom of the V's with the bottom of that starter strip. And then basically you're making an X pattern all the way up. I used one sheet or one piece per row and went all the way up that way. And it seemed to work out exactly on for what it's supposed to be for the HO. The O scale, you ended up with some extra. And if you want to use some different styles or colors, recommend going to Rail Scale Models and getting some different shingling from them if that's what you want to do. Now, in some of these kits, because I guess there's a shortage of the gluing material, a lot of them came with self-adhesive backed strips. Some kits did not. So if that's you, then what I recommend doing is using some Aleen's, just a light coat over there. Only do maybe about a quarter or a half inch at a time with the glue, and then putting that row of shingles down. Because if you do, let's say you do the whole thing at once, what'll end up happening is you'll end up with so you'll be working into dried glue, and that's not what you want, because you want a narrow roofing on there. You don't want to have layers and layers of glue on top of each other. It's not going to look right. All right. And then also be careful. You've got the, when you do this shingling, you'll notice in the upper left corner, last week we had taken and put down a little strip there for the guide, or for the, where the two pieces of roof come together, that roof hinge there. And so you want the roof hinge, you want to start on the downside of that and then work your way up. And then of course you're going to want to repeat this for the other side. All right, so we're going to move on a little bit to beginning the assembly. You're going to take the end wall, the one you see in the middle here, and you're going to want to glue the ridge beam to it. Make sure that is number one matches up with the number one that is on the ridge beam. What you should be able to do with that is set it up at a 90-degree angle, because what's going to happen next week is we're going to start to add pieces into it, and then they're all going to literally hopefully fall into place if you did it right. So what you could do is you could put those extra beams on there, but don't drop them into the slots just yet. All right, so this one was kind of a quick one. It is going to take a little bit of to work to get through, but hopefully it won't be as much homework as it was last week. So again, for episode 2, your homework is ensure all parts are painted, ensure your roof is shingled, ensure your doors and windows and window shades are in place, and ensure the ridge beam is firmly in place with that number one end wall. And I think that'll, once we get that done, then we'll be in a good spot to continue on next week and assemble the main building.